so.
No comment?
We were just about to talk.
Please feel free about that. I call this work session of the mayor and council to order. I believe the first order of business is the, let's go through the whole thing, I guess. Regular business and public hearing notice. Anything on tonight's public hearing and notice that we need to address? I have one thing on the consent agenda. On the planning commission board, we left off two people, Todd Warner. I'm hearing this from Joe Williams. Todd Warner's up for reappointment. Anybody here have a problem with Todd Warner?
Yeah, we do, but not.
And the other one is, we have one other one. The other one is Ida Graham. Now, we do need to, Ida, has had some health issues, and she has missed 3 meetings. But I think they were all due to health issues. Anybody have a problem with Ida remaining on?
And that's where, as we talked earlier, we need to change our code to in any direction you want to go, because that would be in conflict with the current code. It's unequivocal. If you miss 3 meetings, then you're gone and can't be reappointed. So we have a draft that can change that, and we just needed your guidance on that.
Basically, some of our commissions, if you miss 3 meetings, it's at the discretion of the committee, and then the mayor and council, and some of them don't, and planning and zoning does not.
And the Parks and Recreation.
And Parks and Recreation do not. So what Chuck is suggesting is that we bring all of ours into compliance, or to get, into same, by just adding that caveat to planning and zoning and to the Parks and Rec, that if you miss 3 meetings, you can be at the discretion of the committee or mayor and council, and you can be replaced. Because on the other side of that is there are extenuating circumstances like Ida in this situation.
Well, I think that makes a lot of sense, but move that all the way to any of even the new boards, I mean, anything that we've got new, such as the
I think we gotta give them the option, if you miss 3 meetings and they know you're not gonna be up, and they know you're not, if they can say, okay, look, the rule says you miss 3 meetings, you can be, and we're deciding to. I think that's important, because you get some people who just.
Well, we're giving the committee to make the decision to nominate the person.
Right.
Why don't we give them the decision to remove her?
I agree.
Yep.
Okay, Chuck, you got it?
I've already essentially got it drafted, so I'll have something to you all this week.
Great.
2 other items regarding committees, both surrounding the Arts Commission. They have gotten themselves in a position now where their non-residents have exceeded the allowable number in the code. And we need to know if you want to stick with the current number of non-residents or expand that. And then the other thing with the Arts Commission is we need to have numbered posts, which makes tracking appointments much easier. So I don't think anybody would have trouble with numbered posts, but I need input on the other.
We're up to 4 non-residents?
Right.
Out of how many?
7. I don't think you
I
need
don't think we need to change that.
to. No, I think with 3 should be the maximum. I think how this happened is we had one that was a resident that moved out, correct?
Yeah, we had some who were non-residents who moved in and some residents who moved out.
Well, we have to make sure we have the right addresses for everybody, and that we don't have.
I confirm the addresses.
Okay.
Who's
So we
out?
know that we have 4 out. Who are the 4 that are out?
Everybody except
Jimmy, Leroy, Alyssa.
and Brittany. They're all,
No,
They're all
Brittany- I
non-residents?
thought Brittany lived in Summer Chase. She moved again?
She lives, no, she lives outside the city.
Really? When she moved?
I don't think we need to have more than,
I agree.
I think
It's the Snellville Arts Commission that needs, we said that that's the majority.
we run into the danger of having, I mean, to increase it, you'd have to go more than 4 and out of 7.
Yeah, and then you have,
And then you wind up with a
Majority
board
outside.
that's all outsiders.
Right.
on
We
the
only
agree.
have
right.
5 sitting members out of 7 right now also. We don't have a full board.
So we have 5 sitting members and 4 of them don't live in the city.
Chris Johnson lives in the city, Brittany, Leroy, Jimmy, and Alyssa all live outside.
And we knew Jimmy did, and Leroy.
I think Alyssa moved outside the city. Alyssa-
Right.
Alyssa
she's
did live
sitting
in the city when she was
yeah.
appointed.
what do you have for Brittany's address? I know she was in Summer
High
Chase.
Point Road.
I say she moved again.
Is this a concern with you, commission, the advisory board then?
The advisory board is by schools, it's more than.
It's,
Yeah. The problem with the Arts Commission is they're spending city
Okay.
money.
well, we're spending city money as well.
Well, that was the issue.
But it was, the intent is for the greater Snellville area, so the way that we wrote it up didn't really, but is this gonna be an issue for us though, is if we're setting this precedent for,
But the Arts
Is
Commission,
it
when
something-
when the commission was established, it's in there by ordinance or resolution.
right?
No,
So,
I don't, because, you know, again, we're dealing with schools that are outside, that have students outside. I think we should, when you're doing your screening,
Right.
I think that should be part of your screening process, but I don't think it should be a hard and fast rule by council.
Okay,
The Arts
Anybody
Commission-
disagree with that?
Yeah, the Arts Commission started off with 1 outside the city, and we couldn't get 6 people inside the city, so we
Right.
changed it to 3,
right.
just to fill the spots.
Right. But it sounds like the Arts Commission is looking for some people, so we need to keep our eyes open for people who are qualified,
Yeah.
would help. They need someone right now that is in the acting, that, you know, in that area that can help them with the ghost tour and stuff like that, which is,
If they
the
were
other side of that
CPA,
is they have done a great job with this, painting the
And one.
wine glasses and bases and stuff. I mean, that has been a big hit in the city, a lot of people.
Yeah, but it also costs a ton.
I'm sorry?
Hmm?
Like, is there a way we can keep track of their budget stuff? Because I know that was
Right.
their
Yeah,
event,
me
but
too.
they spent so much on it and it cost way more and they didn't make money. So it's really like, it's a great idea, but they're operating like that.
Well-
They're gonna run out of money.
Yeah, and that's.
Yeah, well, that is- yeah, they're gonna run out of money.
They're gonna run out of money.
Matches their funds, right?
Right.
The
Yeah.
city matches their funds, so they can keep doing that.
No, because
No, only.
No.
We match their
How much they raise.
profits, we match their profits.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't match their, if, you know, if they're gonna, if they spend $20, we don't pay 10 of that. If they spend 20 and make 30 and have a $10 profit, we match the $10 profit.
They're aware, Brittany's aware of all of that too. That was a big topic of discussion in the last meeting last week. They were thinking about fundraising options very,
you probably need a CPA to help them. Do you know one?
She's very busy lately.
Okay, so back to the regular meeting agenda, are we adding Todd and,
Yeah, to
Ida?
the consent agenda.
Do you need a motion on that?
how will that be done?
We just need to, when they come to the consent agenda, just make a motion to amend the consent agenda.
I would wait to do that with the amendment next time.
you need to also
Or
have
just do
their
it, just do it on the
posts.
consent agenda next time?
Next time.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah,
leave
you
it,
need
leave
to
it
go to
alone
the
this
next
time and we'll
before you
correct
do
it for
that.
next time.
What about Todd?
Need
I'm
their
sorry?
What
posts.
about Todd? Does he need to be
Post
added?
one, post
We'll do that next meeting.
It'd be
He
kind
says,
of put it
he's,
together.
he's,
I'm
he
just
sits
saying,
until
wait
it's
till the
quite
next
right.
meeting.
Okay, so he's good for
Yeah.
next meeting.
Yeah.
Which would be the day after next.
They all sit till they're.
Yeah, they all sit until they're replaced, so that's kind of a moot point.
And I will have no CID report because there was no meeting.
Okay.
Great.
Meeting's on Wednesday, anybody would like to attend. It's always interesting.
I'm good, Dad.
You know, we could have moved Kathy Gargiulio to the Community Events Board. We could have moved that for some time.
I'll just leave it where it is for this
Yeah.
meeting. No, we can do that in the future.
Okay. It looks like it's a pretty cut and dry meeting. We do, now, anybody have anything on the intergovernmental agreement for SPOT? Any concerns, questions, things to discuss on that?
Tony's had a chance to review that, he's okayed it.
It's got weird formulas in it, but they're compromises from years and years, so.
Do we not have to have
It's worth looking, it's worth reading it for a couple of
millage
reasons.
things in that?
Yeah, it is.
There are things that a city can take advantage of, the
Public
county,
hearing.
in terms of joint
Provide
projects,
citizens.
administration stuff, and it has percentages that are sort of locked in for transportation and recreation, so if you start moving things around, you may, in the past, you've had to go bargain with other cities to swap those things a little bit, stay with the percentages. It's just got a working and an operating that you can take advantage of to a certain extent, I think, if you study it a little bit. Particularly with the county, there is room to move transportation dollars in your direction. There's extra money out there.
Oh, so for like building something.
Like roads,
Yes.
joint road projects are really, really good things to propose. Particularly when you know, there's a street agreement that's inside the city, county streets and city streets. And so figuring out which one of those projects are county streets and then moving local matching funds in there to entice them to come along and help it's got some strategic issues built in it. Otherwise, it's a pretty neutral document and it works. It's a necessity to have a squash.
The other thing on the agenda is the proposed millage rate. Anybody got anything on that? This will be our second of 3 meetings.
And you just received comments.
Really, see, yeah, we're
No
gonna receive
discussion.
comments, but
Yeah.
yes, I will.
Receive.
Okay? All right, and before we get to the work session agenda, I just want with the, it's 6 months, so it's time to reappoint council assignments, and I've got the list here. And so I'll just go through it and discuss it. Barbara, you're going with public safety, planning and zoning, putting Christie and Roger together on planning and zoning. Dave, you're gonna be Parks and Rec, and Bobby will be Public Works. And they'll change again January 7th.
Anyone taking arts?
No, we're not going to, we didn't have arts on the last one as an assignment for anybody.
We might want it, so we don't end up with another
Just saying, I've been,
strange monument somewhere.
generally, I've been
Let's
going.
put Roger, you're the guy with the arts history, arts degree. That's a great idea, you're the chairman.
You got artists.
No, I'm glad you stood up, thank you, I appreciate that.
It's not, I did it for the first, so
Oh, no, I was just joking.
that's why I'm here.
You got it now.
So we're moving Roger to arts and leaving Christie alone at P&L?
No, he's doing arts and.
So you're gonna pull double D.
And who's getting the youth commission?
No, that's a permanent
I figured
assignment.
that. Why did I just,
That's why we split up the other assignments
Good try.
between both of
yeah,
them.
it's okay. All right,
Okay,
What did you get?
great.
let's go to the, let's go to the reason we called the meeting early. I'll turn it over to Butch.
Everybody should have a map that we put together quite a while ago when we were pursuing annexation a little more aggressively. And I know the last couple of meetings, we've talked about bringing up annexation again as far as a from a residential aspect. This was the major residential area that we were looking at last time, which basically is the east or, west or northwest section of the community where, off of Mountain View, connecting off of Janmar and just residential areas moving towards Brookwood High School that are adjacent, contiguous with city property that we could move into and have a discussion about annexation with. We had a few of those discussions last time with some representatives of some of these neighborhoods. We just kind of pulled back, and so Jason was nice enough to dig out this map, and I'd like to hear what you have to say discussion-wise here.
Three questions from me. How many households are involved? What's the tax digest value? And what's the public safety impact?
It's really all you need.
Did I get it for everybody?
Yeah.
Fair question.
They are, when we were talking public safety last time, I know, Roy, you didn't have, really any problems.
All of the neighborhoods that y'all are talking about are very low demand for service neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Still got to patrol them, and still have to pick that up, which means that kind of dilutes us a little bit, but overall, depending on how many, once it gets to a certain level, we might need to add some personnel, but as it stands, probably not, at least initially. We would probably be able to have revenue coming in before that got to be an issue, because I guess we want to do.
Yeah, I would say it probably adds less than a square mile.
Yeah, because it's not really adding all that, it's not adding something that demands a lot of service.
Not high point.
I think there were less than 200.
Somehow it's okay, but.
You would be,
But south is.
Right.
you would be providing sanitation service to about 300 and some households the last time we measured that. And we'll look at the updated tax digest number for you. Remember the discussion that we had. These houses, I think the average fair market value was over $300,000. And with our millage rate formula compared to the county, there was a break of about $285,000. The tax savings that would accrue to a homeowner of that fair market value ends. If you go over that, the county tax bill is actually lower than the city tax bill because of the way the county freezes their assessments at a certain point. So I'll give you that information also.
About stormwater, we're gonna be low on stormwater.
That's an all-in calculation. Free sanitation with the city, $225 a year with the county.
If you got 350 residences using your 300 and some odd, I just kind of picked the middle.
Yeah.
300,000, $105 million in value. So, but
You gotta take 60% of that.
40%.
40% of that.
So
So it's a,
42 million, roughly.
but we know that, in looking at our millage, we know that our digest has grown. I assume their assessments went up also.
Well, I would think the low end of the scale of housing over there is in 300s. I think the high end, there's some 750, 800. Now, there may not be but 5 or 6, but nevertheless, they all encroach way beyond 300.
Yeah.
Well, this one's on the
Tax
market
value.
for $1 million, isn't it?
Holly Lake is.
Oh, that's that house. Yeah.
That one's on the market for $1 million.
Yeah.
The Janmar area, I agree with you totally. but, yeah, that doesn't necessarily go over the whole area.
This is try, no, that's not, no, this is
For
tree.
300 houses at 300,
This is tree line.
300,000 feet.
And this is dogwood, yeah, it's wedged in.
This is dogwood.
Right. Yeah, this is dogwood. Yeah, this is, that's like,
We have to do this on
the way
a
it's
step-by-step basis, don't we? Neighborhood by neighborhood.
Yes.
That's about $165,000 a year at our millage rate.
this one here, just.
No, this is Brooklyn. That's not
No,
connected.
here's
Let's
the,
see, garbage would be,
Bexley's in Brooklyn Manor. Here's mine.
30,000.
That's one of them had Greg's, 'cause there's Greg's.
This one's off on the-
garbage would be about 40,000 of that.
No, see right here's one of them. This is Brooklyn Manor. Ronald, Blythe, Banger, are all,
So we'll,
because this is Brooklyn High School.
if you're still interested in going there, we'll come up with
I think we
the,
need to
exact.
contiguous neighborhoods, and
At 100%.
we can get them, I think the other would be obviously foolish to spend time over here and get that.
It would be nice to think that we could do 100% annexation. But if, that, you know, if you have a couple of holdouts, then you have to take a step back and, have an election. So it's a difficult, that's a difficult path. But we could, like I said, we had the conversations before and there was interest before. So, and one of the things that we told them was not only public safety, but, you know, you suddenly have input as an equal partner when it comes to the UDO, development regs, and that was important to a lot of folks out there.
I think, my suggestion is we do this on a domino thing, okay? We select the first one we're gonna go after, we go after that neighborhood. And let's see what happens, you know, and if you don't get that neighborhood, you're not gonna get the next one because you can't get to the next one. So I don't see us blanketing all this area. I see us working on the first couple neighborhoods that are contiguous to the city and seeing what kind of response we get.
From a value standpoint, my thought would be the Janmark piece would be the first one to look at. Because, yeah, and maybe not, but I think now you gotta look at them all, you gotta look at them individually and see. How many residences are in this block?
We can separate it out.
Yeah, and
That's
then,
way up here in the end, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about up here at the top.
Yeah.
Hinsdale.
General is a road that takes that.
Do you want to start with everything north and east of Ronald Reagan, or do you want to divide that section up?
I mean, I would go at it either, I would either go at Williams Place first,
That would be the more logical to me, but
either this one, or if we start over here, go after this whole section here, and then come back to this one later.
Gotta start this one closer to it and then go.
One on Mountain.
See, they're talking about starting.
I mean, you can do those too, but we're gonna start out that way. You have to do the ones on Mountain.
They're not $300,000
That's
homes.
what
No,
I'm missing.
not that first one, but
We've got some-
yeah,
it wouldn't matter.
no question, you got them kind of scattered out, especially, you know, it's here. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that good.
So that was why I was saying, here we know, we believe that we can. I think it's just a matter of weighing the outcomes where we think we can succeed.
There's four neighborhoods in the northeast quadrant, basically. Snellville and, where Joe lives, and then the Woodlands, and two smaller neighborhoods that you could all break up into blocks to look at.
But I would do, I mean, if we were gonna go over here first, I would do this whole section.
You gotta get these first. the
You gotta get the
You have to get it all at once, the contiguous piece.
Start here.
Right.
Yeah, that's the wood, that's Denmark, and that's the whole.
What's your pleasure?
I believe the domino
Well, we
takes a
need-
lot,
yeah.
it's just a matter of where we
But
start.
starting where?
Oh, the start of on up.
Well, do we have any inclination of what's the easiest area? Do
Well,
we think we have?
Yeah, we had the discussion with the Waterford folks, last time, and I think there are, what, 3
Is
Waterfords?
that there?
I think there are 3, different
They're here, right?
HOAs there. They're here,
Right.
yes.
Waterford attaches to Bridgewater, so. To me personally, that would be the area that I, for 2 reasons. Number one, I think the values are gonna be there. And I think there's a number of people that have already expressed a willingness to listen and more, perhaps, an ability for us to close that deal than the others.
Roger, that's still a domino, we're just starting at the other end.
Yeah, I'm for that, yeah, I'm for whichever, because it doesn't really matter. Just start with-
No,
Yeah.
I think
Does
we should
everybody,
get
does
started.
everybody agree then we start at Janmar and work our way west,
Yep,
south, what is that?
whatever it
Because I
is.
think if we win, I think when we win Janmar, I think the others are a lot more palatable to doing it.
No, I agree.
Mhm.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
All right, so much for rezoning.
Get her done, as they say. Can you say that?
Okay, next, let's update our ongoing events, our ongoing projects.
All right, Town Center Working Plan, I thought we had a very good meeting in Savannah. We have,
Ongoing.
we have Clark Patterson and Precision Planning working together on the placement of the library. It has delayed Clark Patterson for a couple of weeks, getting the final layout back to us, but it's gonna be in better order when it does get here.
We have any idea when it's going to get here?
Probably 2 weeks. We have an update meeting, the next item there, we have an update meeting with Precision Planning on the morning of July 13th, and we'll know exactly more about the library plans and the coordination that's going on there.
Where's that meeting gonna be?
It is at Precision Planning, I think we, 8:30 a.m.
Is that open to any of us? They can go.
Up to 3.
Yep.
I plan on being there.
The public relations, we have an update meeting tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, where we're going to talk about, just update Jeremy and the committee. The committee hasn't met in a while. Eric's been out, a lot of people have been on vacation.
How's
so-
Eric doing, by the way?
Eric's doing well. He's been cleared to come back to work on a part-time basis. Had a doctor's appointment today. Still has a little, had just back surgery.
That's tomorrow, 11.
Yes. When it comes to public relations, broadcast and video, the new website's up. I've heard nothing but good things. You know, it's,
Do we know, I meant to call on this the other day, I could not get subscribed to the calendar. Has anybody,
I've had 2 issues. The calendar was one of them, and the other one with some of the, at least, and I did not check today, so I couldn't answer the second piece of this, is that council meeting videos hadn't been updated. The last I checked, May was the most updated video we had on the website. So those are 2 things.
but we couldn't, no one.
And I have not tried again to do the calendar, but I could not do it for last.
Thunderstorm warning. And the UDO meeting wasn't posted on the calendar on the website for Tuesday night. I don't know if we can get that on there. I noticed that yesterday and didn't, forgot to send it email.
Have we What's the picture issue, Brian?
The photo gallery? Yeah, basically we have to just use the thumbnails. So now you'll see there's 3 events that I put photos under, so. It doesn't go into that fancy slider anymore, but that slide preview slideshow, but now it'll, you just click side to side, so it won't mess with your height of your
But you can
browser.
roll through them at a decent size.
Okay, I just tried, you can still not subscribe to the calendar.
All right, I'll let,
And the other thing is, the calendar is listed under newsworthy. I think it should be listed under community,
Or both.
or both, yeah.
okay.
I think we can address those issues.
Yeah, that was tweet. It was neat. It's time for my coffee, I have to leave.
I thought maybe you just got subscribed.
Yeah, Melissa's showing me the development code update kickoff meeting on the calendar. I don't know why it didn't show up on yours, Barbara. But,
Oh, you can see it right there?
upcoming events.
But let me just say this though, we've had, usually in a typical month, you get 3 or 4 questions from visitors, and now we probably get 2 or 3 a day.
Wow.
So they're able to communicate with us a lot more effectively, I think. and-
Like, when can I sign up for the calendar? Is that kind of question you get?
No, only the mayor has asked, but we'll check on that.
On what day is?
Okay, more like what's going on with the
Well, it's
garbage.
there.
You find it, Barbara?
Well, I see it here. It's right there.
We'll have a navigational workshop. Coming
Or certain chance of number something.
We couldn't find the agenda.
All right, so where are we?
We're on the COOP, we're working on a meeting with Lilburn. Bill Johnson has had some medical issues, and he's under the weather there. So when he gets back, we'll get together with he and the chief and our departments. We'll get that straightened out. Tree replacement at DDR. We have received a plan that's been reviewed. Jason, we don't have all of our arborist comments yet, do we?
Well, he's gonna give us something official, but he basically signed off on it.
Okay. We do need something official, and then we just need to get together with you, Tony, and set a calendar of everything that needs to come before, we just need to put everything in place. Come before the council again, take care of the court schedule.
The general gist of it is they have agreed to make, to replant a bunch of trees. There was a question of whether they were going to increase the size of their trees so they could lower the penalties involved. And I guess they came up with their final plan.
Yeah, they didn't deviate from our original final plan because it was too cost prohibitive.
So in that area, we have a final agreement ready to go. I mean, we've got it, I guess 95% once arborist gets a look at the plan. We're on a calendar for next week, and so that pushes everybody's attention. So to the extent we can get ourselves to know those numbers, so we get in front of them, they've been.
Now, they're gonna have to come in front of.
They don't have to. They have some numbers that they can just write checks for,
Yeah.
but they will, if they wanna come before either the court or the council, they'll have to come before council, but if they could probably acquiesce in the settlement, pay the fines suggested and not have a big court appearance. But I think the agreement leaves open the concept of the penalties. They can make an argument that the penalties need to be lessened even in the
So
court
that's when
and
it
to,
comes from the
and to
council.
the council, yeah. And the council, they've gotta come in front of you because
Yeah.
they have to
Right.
have the exception, just like their
Right.
neighbors did.
Right.
They can argue in front of the court.
Right.
Mhm.
Town hall meetings, once again, we're set for August. Did we have an exact date in August? Anybody have that on the calendar?
No, but I'm gonna be out of town from the 14th to the 23rd. 14th to 24th. I'm missing the second meeting, that's the 22nd.
We're gonna be out of town the 25th through the 31st. Yep.
Oh, you know what? I'm out of town the 21st, that was the 21st.
We're doing
So nothing
both,
for
can't we?
Looks like we need to push it to September.
And you gonna be out of town?
21st. Tom wasn't gonna be here, so I was gonna run that meeting, but I'm on vacation.
Do what you can on the meeting, so you know what
Yeah, we'll have to work that out, won't we?
There's a Skype issue.
Well, I mean, it really, that leads
Well,
us
we'll-
to thinking about,
Talk about that.
you know, we got some
Well,
time to plan for that.
we're there, let's talk about that. I mean, if we're not gonna, because we're either gonna have to cancel the meeting or make another arrangement. If the mayor and the mayor pro tem are both gonna be out of town on that day.
Well, that still leaves,
Still is
Four.
Yeah.
I mean, so we theoretically, we
I
still
don't,
have. a
that's
meeting.
fine, I don't know how that's done, or, it's not something I have not,
Guess they just elect a chair.
They do.
Yeah.
Elect the chair.
All right.
Not it.
okay. Well, the staff needs to be prepared that that's what happened. You know?
It's August 22nd.
Yeah, August 22nd. I'll be out of town from the 12th to the 24th.
And I'm out the 25th through the 30th.
So that puts like the second half of August out for our meeting.
For the most part.
So let's do it September,
September the 8th,
yeah,
Thursday.
yeah. Everybody good with that?
September 8th.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Advisory, cancel it.
After.
That's the Tuesday or Monday?
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah, right, Thursday.
Do you want
Okay.
students there on the 8th?
Oh,
Okay, because then we have meetings around that, we can just cancel it and do that instead.
In looking at Snellville 101, I had hoped to keep it a little shorter, but when we look at everything we need to include, if we have an hour-and-a-half meeting for each program, we really need to have 5 programs. And I was looking at starting September 22nd, Thursday night, 6:30 to 8 o'clock, going over the basics of the city at first, along with the budget. Then get into major projects and vision, talk about planning and development, economic development. Program 3, public safety. One thing I didn't notice in the past, and which a lot of local leaderships don't include, are community organizations. I think we need to include our volunteer and community organizations in a program, so I put them in program 3. Public Works, Recreation, and Senior Services, a chance to go through the senior center and maybe over at the park if that's possible on program 4. Always like to get once they've had a chance to get some knowledge about the community and the local government, I like having them do some role playing, class exercise, getting them involved in volunteering to serve as council members and citizens and staff, and then bring the mayor and council in for a panel discussion where they can shoot questions at you guys based on what they've learned and where they'd like to see the city go, and then just have a graduation ceremony. So,
For the class exercise, we could put them in the council chambers up
That's-
on the dais, and we'll bring a room full of angry people.
Well, we can just all come and get angry, and pick all up with me.
I've got a few in mind.
well, they volunteer for all those roles.
We can all wear
And
red
it's
shirts.
amazing some of the comments you hear from folks when they finish that exercise. I mean, it's just for fun, but you know, they tighten up there when they're in a decision, and we give them some good, difficult scenarios to address. So, and I'm not using the A word at all. I'm gonna get fined. But so just and I'd like to keep it to around 30 people. If each elected official could come up with 5 people to attend, I think we could get a lot of people who are maybe they're kind of on the periphery. They have an interest, but they haven't had the time or taken the time to come to a meeting, and let's just do some good recruiting.
So, let's say that by the September, what's the first meeting in September?
September 22nd needs to
No,
be.
what's the first meeting in September? 5th? By September 12th, each one of us will turn in our 5 names.
And I'll have some more materials for you to share with folks besides this draft overview.
And we'll put that on the work agenda, that, our council progress on getting recruits, so that we remind each other about it at every meeting between now and then.
We'll keep this on.
So we have
Can I
5
send
people.
students?
I mean,
Can
no,
I send no students?
let's get adults.
Okay.
And, but, that needs to be the next step.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be glad to do it, in a shorter version, or, I've always, moved in that direction.
Or it's not something you couldn't put into your curriculum and with them already.
Yeah.
Doing our monthly meetings
Right,
already.
right. Incorporate what's done in the adults into our class.
Okay.
But I think we want to get, kind of like the police,
Yeah, we need to develop leadership for the commissions and boards,
yeah.
Mhm.
and we need adults
Okay.
in there for this one.
Teacher internship program, we're keeping that on there, but it's still on the back burner. The UDO, of course, the public meeting tomorrow night, the robocall went out, signs that it is difficult to get people to a meeting when it's a little complex issue. But hopefully, I'm hoping for 50 to 100, and to pique some interest out there. Charter Review Committee, making great progress, moving along, getting a lot of good suggestions, and as Tony said, that's a good group. The eBay sales, did we ever get the information on the computer?
We're still We just have to get all in one place.
Okay, all right, so we're still at 18.5 then. Recreation and senior planning, the little update I gave you on Friday, there are a lot of things that I hadn't seen you guys in a while, so I sent out that little update on some smaller items that are not on this list, and I attached the draft of the latest draft of Oak Road Park, Passive Park. And that meeting is Thursday evening at 6:30. You certainly don't have to attend. Goodwin, Mills, and Haywood will be here with an overview of what we have so far, and then we'll just talk to the neighbors.
Bobby, what time is your meeting?
It starts at 7.
I hope
It
I
may
have,
it may overlap a little bit.
I hope I have a group to go out there and join.
Well, you know, that would be great if you can, but I didn't see much, it was hard to keep pushing it out.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, it becomes not timely.
There's a meeting every night this week. Roundabout construction, all I can say there is North and Fars is moving faster than North and Ridgedale.
When we say faster, we have, where are we at? Still at acquisition?
They are, but they've made some progress, so they'll be bringing some proposals back to us. Some of their numbers in the next couple of weeks. So their Moreland Altobelli is working on that. I didn't make it to their meeting. Oh, did anybody go to the Moreland Altobelli meeting in Savannah?
Yes, we
Both
stopped
of you
by,
stopped
but
I didn't know if they did.
we didn't talk to,
Okay.
there weren't very many people actually there from Moreland.
Okay.
Chairman Hill was there, so we really cared about seeing him.
And he didn't know anything about it.
Their SPLOST planning, I think the city and county cooperation has been excellent. There are some little intricacies about the formula that the county wanted to put in there, but we still will receive a fair amount of money. And hopefully all of the cities will have the IGA adopted this week at their meetings or next, I believe. And then the county will follow through by calling the referendum. Oak Road sidewalk, weather has been very good, so they've made good progress once they got the drainage pipe in the ground. We're looking at maybe even end of July completion, August for sure. And I don't know how many comments y'all have heard.
Good.
I've heard a lot of good comments. So I think when we combine that with the little park project, it should make a big difference in that area of town. GDOT is reviewing the intergovernmental agreement on the CFI displaced left turn intersection 78 and 124 regarding the sign and signal bridges. So we should have that back in the next couple of weeks to review.
Butch, a little extra on that subject. Lutherbeck called and asked if we would, that some of these require the city to get notice when they file their condemnations. And so they've started their first round of those, and he asked if we would acknowledge service. The timing of how they get those done is very difficult, and so if we acknowledge service, it makes the DOT's job easier. Usually it's taxes, at least what our interest is in those little parcels. So if it's okay with you guys, we'll just acknowledge service, and it'll save the sheriff having to come out and find the mayor, and make their job a whole lot easier.
Thank you.
In due time.
So I cut down on my heart medication.
Just limit the number of opportunities.
Yeah.
I just assumed sheriff not show up at my office either.
Residential annexation, we started the discussion tonight. That will be on here every meeting. And I've been in touch with Gordon Maynor, and we've set December the 10th, that Saturday, as a planning retreat day, if that's okay with you guys.
So just plan on one full day.
Yes, just like we did last time.
Probably do it the same as last time, spend the entire day up there at night.
Location to be determined, he can go anywhere, we can go, do whatever. So, I thought it was very helpful to have Tony there, and please check your calendar on that also.
Especially if we wanna eat.
I was just gonna say that, but I thought, no.
Sorry.
It's not always about the food, I restrain myself.
Okay,
Kick us out of our to-go box.
what's we got in this session? Any other discussion items?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Bent Trail, the house that we declared a nuisance, what's the progress? Do we have to wait on it yet?
I know everything's gone out and that they are not occupying the premises anymore. The notice has been returned. We just need to go forward and get them.
But do we have to wait to clean it up? I mean, it's been what? a
I
month?
guess that was my
We have to
question,
get
I
an
drove
order
by
from
there
the
yesterday.
municipal court.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to have a hearing on it.
Okay. I was just checking to see where we were.
We're on the lag, yeah.
Solution.
That was not allowed.
Anything else that to bring before the council for discussion? During the work session of the mayor and city council of Snellville, Georgia, Mayor Rick announced that certain matters should be discussed in the closed session of the meeting and ask council to advise the city with respect to